Hello, good people, and welcome to the second edition of my Rugby World Cup 2019 vlog, if you want to call it that. The second out of three, and just an opportunity to review what happened over the past weekend, and look ahead to the two semi-finals. So, just briefly, obviously, just to talk through those, those four games, starting off with England, Australia. A really exciting game, pretty competitive as we expected. Um, England really were really impressive. I mean, they were extremely clinical. They took the opportunities when the opportunities presented themselves. And it was just amazing how rigorous they were with regards to their game plan. I mean, Eddie Jones is a masterclass, and it just showed in terms of the way the players executed that game plan. Obviously, they played with a lot less possession than Australia had, but they played sensible rugby. They played World Cup rugby. They used a formula which is tried and tested in Rugby World Cups, and it ended up being successful. I mean, I think the scoreline was flattering for England. There's no doubt about it. It was a closer game than the scoreline would have suggested, but you always got the feeling that England were a couple of steps ahead of Australia throughout that game. All I want to say about the last thing I want to add to that game is thank goodness Michael Cheika is done, because he's been a bit of an embarrassment all around. Second game, New Zealand, Ireland. Sad for Ireland. I think as a neutral, everyone was hoping that that Ireland could put up a better performance. But you've got to give credit where credit's due, and New Zealand were extremely impressive. They just showed their class on the day. They showed what they're all about. And they're a serious force to be reckoned with. They are the best of the best, and no one's going to deny that. Extremely impressive. Sad for Ireland, as I say. Just too many errors, I guess. Ireland needed to be, they needed to be on their A game. The only way you're going to even compete with a side like New Zealand is if you really pull everything together and play to the best of your ability, and they weren't even close to that. And their pack was very disappointing, I've got to say. They just looked deflated. Perhaps if they'd had a few moments go their way earlier in the game, it could have been slightly different. But you always got the impression that even with that, even if they had taken their chances, Sexton had, found touch in that early penalty where Mo'unga, managed to get the ball back in play. Even then, you just didn't see it. It perhaps could have meant they would have lost by a lesser margin, but that's probably as good as it would have got for Ireland on the day. Right, so just keeping an eye on time here. We have to 3 minutes, and obviously I want to spend the majority of my time here on the mighty Springboks. So, Chivas, Wales, France. What an incredible game! Sadly, I wasn't able to watch it. I was at church, but I ended up having actually stepping out of the service towards the end, which is a bit ridiculous. But it was just getting so crazy that I had to watch it. So I watched probably the last 30 minutes. On my phone, and that was obviously very exciting. What a pity that France couldn't pull it through. I mean, that is it Vahamina, the French number 5. Yeah, that's just pure stupidity. I mean, what else can you say? Obviously he's human and he's fallible, and it can happen, but it's really unacceptable, and it's just such a pity because everyone knows that France were the better team on the day, and. It's just sad. I mean, it's kind of there's a lot of irony in it after what happened in the 2011 World Cup, obviously with Warburton getting sent off there, and the Welsh losing by a point in that semi-final. So pretty incredible that it's kind of turned full circle now. Credit to Wales. The one thing that's impressive about Wales, and this is going to obviously lead into the discussion around the Springbok Wales game, is they've, and a lot of people are saying it, and I do agree. It's the sign of a really, really quality side that they find a way to win under all situations, kind of thing. And it's impressive. They didn't deserve to win that game, and it is a sign of a quality side. It's a sign of a winning mentality. They've obviously got tremendous belief in their setup. They're extremely well coached, and they've achieved a lot of success over the last 2 to 3 years. So. No, they're a real force, and they deserve to be in the semi-finals. Make no mistake about it. I mean, I think what's fantastic is we've got 4 sides in the semi-finals that really deserve to be there. They are the top 4 ranked sides in the world. I mean, you can take the rankings for what they're worth. I mean, I don't read a lot into it personally, but it's right. It's right the way it's panned out. If you look at it holistically. And then obviously the SA Japan game, yeah, it was an interesting one. Like people were pretty stressed, leading up to halftime, and I won't lie, like I was a little bit concerned myself. I was always sort of like relatively comfortable, and I know it's easy to say that now after we got a relatively comfortable win, but I was. I mean, you just always got the feeling that our bench, the strength of our bench was going to have an important impact. The bomb squad, as they call it, and that happened in the end. So, Japan played an impressive, fast-paced game. What I actually liked, and it's a real testament to the quality of our defence, is that Japan kicked a lot more than they had been in this whole tournament, and it was pretty interesting. Like right early in the game, they kicked a cross kick at Yotamura, where they kicked a cross kick onto Mapimpi, which didn't work out. But like it was a clear tactic, and it obviously took my mind back to the New Zealanders when they kicked onto Sevu Reece, and then obviously that was a lot more successful where Mapimpi sort of slipped up on defence there. But it was testament to our defence. They obviously realised that these guys have got a serious defence here. Their inside out rush defence is very effective, and we're not going to run through them, even with our fast-paced outside backs. And so they decided a better strategy would be to sort of kick onto us, which didn't end up working. That's just that. Because I know you can say it's only Japan, but it's not taking anything away from them. I mean, they were impressive in that first half. They attacked well. They did put us under pressure. We had to play with 14 men. On another day, obviously, that could have been a red card for Bongi. So we can thank our lucky stars. People should stop coming so hard at Wayne Barnes. I mean, he didn't have a great game. He made some very obvious errors, some really ridiculous errors. I mean, that one where Mapimpi in the air on the Japan 14, that was ridiculous. I mean, for not even to go upstairs, that just makes no sense. But Wayne Barnes is quite an arrogant referee, and whatever. That's his deal. I don't really want to focus on referees. So. So that was that. I mean, second half performance, I want to talk a little bit about that. Phenomenal, and that's where our strength really came through in terms of our set piece, our line out. Just a side fact. I mean, I read today we're the only team in the World Cup who hasn't lost a line out on our own ball up until now. We've won 57 out of 57 line outs. That is an unbelievable statistic, and very encouraging for us. But also our scrums were power in the second half. The set piece, I mean, the maul, that was a thing of beauty. That maul, I watched a highlight of it today. That was literally 50 meters. We started on the opposing team's 10-meter line. It was inside the other half. It was just crazy, and that was incredible. And that was with Wayne Barnes not officiating properly, because you can't tell me that a side's going to defend a maul like that and not give away a penalty. And even with regards to some of the earlier mauls in that game, so he just wasn't blowing on the maul properly. I mean, that's the only conclusion you can really reach. Anyway, so just moving on to the two semi-finals. It's panned out exactly how I thought it would pan out in terms of the route to the final. It didn't take a neurosurgeon to work it out. If you just looked at the draw and played out some scenarios, it was always going to be quite likely that we were going to end up with these four teams in the semi-finals. I've always had a belief that England are a side that are capable of knocking New Zealand out of this World Cup. They're certainly not favourites for their semi-final on Saturday. New Zealand are the form team. They are the favourites. And if you're going to go according to the book, New Zealand would win this World Cup, and perhaps that is still what's going to happen. I mean, it's very, very possible, obviously. But I still have a funny feeling about England in the game on Saturday. It's going to take a Herculean effort from them if they are going to be able to pull it off. But I think they're capable. I think they can do it. I think they've got the right game plan. Here's old Dora rocking up here on the side. I know people probably been noticing her in the background, and I'm probably going to cop some abuse over it. But anyway, England have looked really good this whole tournament. People have said they haven't been tested. Well, I think they were well tested against by Australia. Australia, strung a lot of passes together, put a lot of phase ball together. They ran the ball a lot, and the English defence was formidable to say the least. They were extremely impressive. They just play a really good brand of rugby, a very effective brand of rugby. They stick to their game plan very closely. They're under strict orders from Big Eddie, and they seem to be nailing it at the moment. So I just think on the day, I think New Zealand are going to get put under a type of pressure that they haven't experienced in this tournament thus far, even though they've played against us. And it's going to be about those small moments. Like those small moments are going to become very big moments in terms of the outcome of that match. And it's going to be about which team sort of takes the opportunities. I know it's not all cliche because obviously that's always what happens in these games, but it's going to be a game of chess between those two sides. And I have a funny feeling that England could do it. Like it won't be an upset either way, whether England win it or New Zealand win it. And I'm just hoping from a neutral point of view. And I'm sorry to say this for the New Zealand supporters out there, but I'm going to be punting for England hard. Partly from a South African point of view, that I believe obviously that if we are to go into the final, then we'd rather be playing England than New Zealand. In saying that, I'm optimistic that even if we do have to face the All Blacks, I've had a view from the beginning that if we play New Zealand twice in this World Cup, I don't believe the same team will win both games. You can take that for what it's worth. Okay, and now look, sorry guys, I'm running a bit long here on time. It's almost 11 minutes. Let's just quickly touch on the Wales South Africa game. And like in a nutshell, for South Africa, it's going to come down to two things. It's going to come down to being a lot more clinical in terms of the opportunities that present themselves. We didn't get that right against Japan. That was one of the most disappointing aspects of the game, is that we created space, we created opportunities, that strike ball was there, and we didn't capitalise. And against a side like Wales, if we don't take those opportunities, it is going to come back to bite us. So that's really my prediction. I'm sorry to say that if we don't get that right in the day, we're not going to be as blessed as we were against Japan in terms of the amount of ball that we're going to have and the ability to dominate their pack. The Welsh pack is proper, led by Alan Wynne-Jones, phenomenal player, most experienced captain at this World Cup. He's the real deal. And their set piece is going to hold up a lot better. Obviously, it's going to be very competitive against ours. But I think both sides are going to play a very similar game plan. Expect a lot of kicking. I don't even want to go into the whole box kicking situation and all of the South African rugby fans and this divide down the middle in terms of box kicking. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? If you just want to go back to the stats and have a look at how effective that brand of rugby actually is if it's executed properly. And I'm not saying poor execution is acceptable, because it's not. But the box kick isn't a very effective tactic when it's executed correctly, and I believe that we are going to execute it better in this game. Faf de Klerk, also like major bone of contention, but look, he is gonna execute a few of those kicks poorly again. It happens every game. He's a left foot box kicker. He doesn't get it right all the time. Hopefully we can retrieve more kicks than we did against Japan. We're going to need to. Wales are going to be stronger in the air, and they've got good aerial players, particularly George North, for obvious reasons. But I feel like our kick chase will be better against Wales. I'm optimistic that we can win some more of that ball off those kicks, and then we are going to play a bit of anti-rugby, as they call it, as what's that journalist's name? Rob Howing says. It's anti-rugby, but it's effective, and we back our defensive structures. We play that 5-phase rugby, between the 22s. If we don't have success on the 5th phase, then every time we kick on the 5th phase, okay? And then it's basically the line, our defensive line coming up backs and forwards, making a blanket, and obviously the communication's huge, and then we hit. And I think that's going to work for us against Wales. But I'm cagey about this game. I won't lie to you. I think Springbok fans, not a nice thing for me to have to say, but we should face the prospect, the potential reality that we might not get through this. Wales are that good. They can beat us on the day. I wouldn't read anything into past results. The fact that we might have lost 5 or 6 games against Wales, whatever it is, the last time we beat them was in 2015. So what? So what? Okay? Wales have not played against a full-strength Springbok side for a very long time. The last time they played against a full-strength Springbok side, 2015 Rugby World Cup. That's a fact. All right? So let's be confident, guys. Let's get behind our team. Let's just show pure fucking Bokkies for the rest of this week. Let's really drive the force behind the Bokke, because they need us. They need their fans, and we got to be there for them. And Willie le Roux, okay, yes, I've got egg on my face. I was wrong. Fine, okay. Willie le Roux had a shocker. No one's going to deny that, okay. You can call me an idiot. It's fine. I'm still going to stick behind Willie, okay? There's a possibility, from what I hear, that he might be injured. He might be out of the semi-final because of the head injury assessment, and that might be the case. In addition to Colby's apparently got a very dodgy ankle, which we've all seen the recurrences of that. And Perhaps there's talk that he might be out as well with Willemse and Nkosi coming into the side. I don't know. It's only Tuesday. This is stuff going around on WhatsApp. It's it could easily be wrong. But let's see what happens. But even if those two guys do have to come in, fantastic. I mean, we've got such incredible depth. It's all good. But let's just get behind the team. Whatever the team is that's selected, let's back them. Let's try not bitch and moan too much about the box kick. The box kick is a formula that works. I've explained why already. Okay, the stats are there to back it up. All right, the teams that have been successful, generally speaking, all right, even if you look at this last weekend's performances, are actually the teams that ironically have less possession. So there's this fallacy, this popular misbelief, if I can call it that possession's everything in rugby, and it's actually not. It's not at all. Okay, like. Territory is absolutely critical, and playing in the right parts of the field are extremely important in these games. No one wants to see a Faf de Klerk box kick going 5 meters, and yes, he does get a few of those wrong every game, and I know it's frustrating. But anyway, guys, let's be positive. As I mentioned on my on my last edition, I believe the Bokke are going to do it. If I have to give a prediction, I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be a real arm wrestle, but I think we're going to get through by a couple of points, maybe box by 4, give or take. And then the smart money would be on New Zealand winning their semi. But personally, I've got a funny feeling about it, and I see England getting through only just by a whisker, a couple of points in that one as well. Let's see what happens, guys. Have a good week, and come on the Bokke. Cheers, chaps. Bye.